mute side.
Yeah.
That's right, then it's okay. That's good. Okay. We are good. Thanks. Excellent. So we are now live. So welcome to those of you in our webinar. Thank you for joining us, and those on YouTube watching us wherever you are in the world. We know we have some new fans in Australia, so we're excited. I think that they're with us, and it's tomorrow afternoon there. I think it's 17 hours ahead. So welcome. Wherever you may be, thank you for joining us for part one of 3 parts of arguably Shakespeare's most famous play, and certainly with the speech that is probably the most quoted line of any British playwright, that's for sure, or most any playwright, yes. Welcome to Soul and Bliss Theatre. My name is Richard Kenyon. I'm the artistic director of the company, and I have the great honor of directing Hamlet, all 3 parts with 3 separate Hamlets that we will be doing for you over the next 3 weeks. So we're really excited to share our work with you. Before we start, just a quick synopsis for those of you that don't know the play. For those of you that don't know the play, I envy you, and really, where have you been? How do you not know Hamlet? Everybody knows this play. So Hamlet is essentially the great ghost story. The ghost of the king of Denmark tells his son Hamlet to avenge his murder by killing the new king, Hamlet's uncle. Hamlet feigns madness, contemplates life and death, and seeks revenge. His uncle, fearing for his life, also devises plots to kill Hamlet. And I would hate to ruin the ending, so I won't ruin the ending for you, but it is one of the great tragedies that Shakespeare wrote. Anyway, I'll now let our actors introduce themselves, and they'll tell you what parts that they are playing for tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Luann Morrow, and I'm playing Marcellus and Rosencrantz.
Hi, I'm Alanna Uhrich, and I'm playing Hamlet.
I'm Paul Gore. I'm playing Polonius.
Hi, I'm Megan Mektian, and I'm playing Bernardo and Gertrude.
Hi, I'm Glenn Thomas Cruz, and I am playing Horatio.
Hi there, my name is Christian Brune, and I am playing Laertes.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Mockbach, and I'm playing Ophelia.
And Brandon's not going to tell
me. Is it me?
Yeah.
It's me. Hey, I'm Brandon Burla, and I'm going to be Claudius.
Excellent. And I am playing Francisco and Voltimand and the ghost for tonight's reading. So wherever you are in the world, sit back and enjoy part 1 of Hamlet. Part 1 of Hamlet runs about 95 minutes. So it's pretty fast and furious, but enjoy as we present to you Hamlet by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1, enter Bernardo and Francisco, 2 sentinels.
Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He.
you come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
Oh, for this relief, much thanks. Ooh, 'tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had a quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
Enter Horatio and Marcellus. I think I hear them. Stand, ho! Who is there?
Friends, to this ground.
And liegemen to the Dane.
Oh, give you good night.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo hath my place. Give you good night.
Hola, Bernardo.
Say, what? Is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore, I've entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak of it.
Hush, hush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story, what we have 2 nights seen.
Well, sit we down and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yond same star that's westward from the pole had made its course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one.
Peace! Break thee off. Look where it comes again.
In the same figure like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar. Speak to it, Horatio.
Looks he not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like. It harrows me with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Speak to it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurps this time of night, together with that fair and warlock form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak.
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay, speak, speak, I charge thee, speak.
Ghost exits.
'Tis gone, and will not answer.
How now, Horatio, you tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on it?
Before my God, I might not disbelieve without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself. Such was the very armor he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when, in angry parley, he smote the sledded Polacks on the ice. 'Tis strange.
Thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work, I know not, but in the gross and scope of mine opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good now, sit down and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign mart for implements of war? Why such impressive shipwrights, whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week? What might be toward that this sweaty haste doth make the night joint laborer with the day? Who is it that can inform me?
That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even now but appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto pricked upon by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those his lands which he stood seized of to the conqueror, against the which a moiety competent was gauged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of Fortinbras had he been the vanquisher. As by the same comart carriage of the article designed, his fell to Hamlet. Now, sir, young Fortinbras of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet to some enterprise that hath a stomach in't, which is no other, as doth well appear unto our state, but to recover of us by strong hand and terms compulsatory those foresaid lands, so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and rummage in the land.
I think it be no other, but e'en so. Well, may it sort that this portentous figure comes armed through our watch so like the king that was and is the question of these wars.
A mote it is to trouble the mind's eye. In the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere, the mightiest Julius fell. The graves stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets as stars with trains of fire and dews of blood, disasters in the sun. And the moist star, upon whose influence Neptune's empire stand, was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse. And even the like precursor of feared events, as harbingers preceding still the fates and prologue to the omen coming on, have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climatures and countrymen. But talk
Your ghost.
lo, where it comes again. Aquasito blast me. Stay, illusion. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done that may do thee ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak. Or if thou hast uphoarded in thy life extorted treasure in the womb of earth, for which they say you spirits oft walk in death, speak of it.
The cock crows.
Stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus.
Shall I strike it with my partisan?
Do if he will not stand.
'Tis here.
'Tis here.
Ghost exits.
'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical to offer it the show of violence. For it is as the air, invulnerable, and our vain blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it startled, like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. I have heard the cock that is trumpet to the morn doth with his lofty and shrill sounding throat awake the god of day. And at his warning, whether in sea or fire, in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit hies to his confine, and of the truth herein, this present object made probation.
It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever gainst that season comes wherein our Savior's birth is celebrated, this bird of dawning singeth all night long. And then, they say, no spirit dare stir abroad. The nights are wholesome. Then no planets strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is that time.
So have I heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in rustle mantle cloud walks o'er the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it as needful in our loves, fitting our duty?
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find him most convenient.
They exit. Scene 2, flourish. Enter Claudius, king of Denmark, Gertrude, the queen, a council, Polonius, his son Laertes, Hamlet, with others among them Voltimand and Cornelius.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale, weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. For all, our thanks. Now, follows that you know, young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with this dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, and with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now, for ourself and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fartenbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of his nephew's purpose to suppress his further gait herein, in that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are all made out of his subject. And we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimund, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway. Giving to you no further personal power to business with the king more than the scope of these dilated articles allow. Farewell. Let your haste commend your duty.
In that all things will be shown our duty.
We doubt it not. Heartily farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is't, Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane, and wouldst thou beg, Laertes? That shall not be my offer, not thy asking. The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to your father. What's
My dread lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence, though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation, yet now I must confess that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laborsome petition, and at last, upon his will, I sealed my heart consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces, spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son,
Little more than kin and less than kind.
how is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord, I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected havior of the visage, together with all forms, shapes, moods of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passes show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these morning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father, that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow, but to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient and understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we in our peevish opposition take it to heart? Fie. 'Tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still hath cried from the first course till he that died today, this must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note. You are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart to you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great cannon to the cloud shall tell, and the kings rouse the heaven shall brew it again, bespeaking earthly thunder. Come away.
Flourish, all exit but Hamlet.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon gainst self-slaughter. Oh, God. God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it. Fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. But 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion, to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven, visit her face too roughly. Oh, heaven and earth, must they remember why she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think on it frailty, thy name is woman. Little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why she, even she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason, would have mourned longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing of her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. Oh, but break my heart. I must hold my tongue.
Enter Horatio, Marcellus, and Bernardo.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see you well. Horatio? Do I forget myself?
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. What make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus?
My good lord.
Oh, I'm very glad to see you. Good even, sir. But what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition, good my lord.
Would not hear your enemies say so. Nor shall you do my ear that violence to make it truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My lord the king, your father.
The king, my father.
Seizing your admiration for a while with an attentive ear till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead haste and middle of the night, been thus encountered a figure like your father, armed at point exactly, cap-a-pie, appears before them and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice he walked by their oppressed and feared eyes, within his truncheon's length, whilst they distilled almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy impart they did. And I, with them the 3rd night kept a watch, whereas they had delivered both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watch.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk in haste away and vanished from our sight.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down in our duty to let you know of it.
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight?
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my lord.
From top to toe?
My lord, from head to foot.
And saw you not his face?
Oh yes, my lord, he wore his beaver up.
What? Looked he frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you?
Most constantly.
Oh, would I had been there.
It would have much amazed you.
Very like. Stayed it long.
While one with moderate haste might tell 100.
Longer.
Not when I saw it.
His beard was grizzled? No.
It was as I have seen it in his life, a sable silvered.
I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your loves. So fare you well. Upon the platform, 'twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honor.
Your love's as mine to you. Farewell.
Exit all but Hamlet.
My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. My doubts and foul play. Would the night would come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth o'erwhelm them to men's eyes.
He exits. Scene 3. Enter Laertes and Ophelia, his sister.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the winds give benefit and convey is assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more. Think it, no more.
No more but so?
For nature, crescent does not grow alone in thews and bulk, but as this temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grows wide withal. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil nor cloud doth besmirch the virtue of his will. But you must fear, his greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and the health of this whole state. And therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then, if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. The chariest maid is prodigal enough if she unmask her beauty to the moon. Virtue itself scapes not calumnious strokes. The canker galls the infant of spring too oft before their buttons be disclosed. And in the morn and liquid dew of youth, contagious blasphements are most imminent. Be wary, then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But good my brother, do not as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puffed and reckless libertine himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and reeks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not.
Enter Polonius.
I stay too long. But here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leave.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessings with thee, and these few precepts in thy memory. Look, thou character, give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, in their adoption tried, grapple upon thy soul with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged courage. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in, bear to that opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France of the best rank and station are of a most select and generous chief in that. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell. My blessing season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invests you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
He exits.
What is it, Ophelia, he hath said to you?
So please you something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Marry, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath said very oft of late, given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so 'tis put on me, and that in way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly. As it behoves my daughter and your honor, what is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affection, puh! You speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Marry, I will teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have ta'en these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion.
Why, fashion you may call it. Go to, go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughters, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, even in their promise as it is a making, you must not take for fire. From this time be something scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parley. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given you. In few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows, for they are brokers, not of that dye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits, breathing like sanctified and pious bawds, the better to beguile. This for all, I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment leisure, as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you, come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
They exit. Scene 4. Enter Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus.
The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
It is a nipping and eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I heard it not. It then draws near the season wherein the spirit held his wont to walk.
Flourish of trumpets, and 2 pieces go off.
What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse, keeps wassail and swaggering up spring reels, and as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, merry is't. But to my mind, though I am native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed revel east and west makes us traduced and taxed of other nations. They clap us drunkards, and with swinish phrase soil our edition. And indeed, it takes from our achievements, though performed at height, the pith and marrow of our attribute. So oft it chances with particular men that, for some vicious mole of nature in them, as in their birth wherein they are not guilty, since nature cannot choose his origin, by the o'ergrowth of some complexion, oft breaking down the pales and forts of reason, or by some habit that too much o'erleavens the form of plausive manners, that these men, carrying, I say, the stamp of one defect, being nature's livery or fortune's star, his virtues else, be they as pure as grace, as infinite as man may undergo, shall, in the general censure, take corruption from that particular fault. The dram of evil doth all the noble substance of a doubt to his own scandal.
Enter Ghost.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health, or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven, blasts from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape, and I will speak to thee. Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane. Oh, answer me. Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements. Why the sepulchre wherein we saw thee quietly interred hath oped his ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again. What may this mean? That thou, dead corse, again in complete steel, revisits thus the glimpses of the moon, are making night hideous, and we fools of nature so horridly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls. Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
Ghost beckons.
It beckons you to go away with it as if it's some impartment did desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous action it waves to you a more removed ground. But do not go with it.
No, by no means.
Will not speak, then I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee. And as for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself, that waves me forth again? I'll follow it.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord? Or to the dreadful summit of the cliff that beetles o'er his base into the sea, and there assume some other form which might deprive you of your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness? Think of it! The very place puts toys of desperation without more motive into every brain that looks so many fathoms to the seas and hears it roar beneath.
It waves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold back, Hamlet.
Hold off your hands.
Be ruled, you shall not go.
My fate cries out and makes each petty archer in this body as hardy as the Nemean lion's nerve. Still am I called. Unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets, I say, away. Go on, I'll follow thee.
Exit the Ghost and Hamlet.
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after to what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
They exit. Scene 5. Enter Ghost and Hamlet.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand an end, like quills upon the fearful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, list, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh God.
Revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on Lethe wharf. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, hear. 'Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But no, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life, now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast with witchcraft of his wits, with traitorous gifts, O wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce, won to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand, even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness court it in a shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief, let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebona in a vial, and in the porches of my ear do pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor it doth posset and curd like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine, and a most instant tetter barked about, most Lazar-like, with vile and loathsome crust all my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off, even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouseled, disappointed, unannaled, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, oh, horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursues this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near and gins to pale his uneffectual fire. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Remember me.
Oh, you host of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? Shall I couple hell I hold my heart. You, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee, die thou poor ghost, whilst memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven, O most pernicious woman. Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain. My table's meat it is I set it down that one may smile and smile and be a villain. At least I am sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is, would you remember me? I've sworn.
Enter Horatio and Marcellus.
My lord, my lord.
Lord Hamlet.
Heaven, secure him.
So be it.
Hello, ho, ho, my lord.
Oh, boy, come bird, come.
How is't my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No, you will reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
How say you then? Would heart of man once think it? But you'll be secret.
Aye, by heaven, my lord.
There's never a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Right. You are in the right. And so, without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You, as your business and desire, shall point you. For every man hath business and desire, such as it is. And for my own part, I will go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you. Heartily. Faith, heartily.
There's no offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense too. Touching this vision here. It is an honest ghost. And let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us, or mastered as you may. And now, good friends, you are friends, scholars and soldiers. Give me one poor request.
What is, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn already, my lord.
Indeed, upon my sword. Indeed.
Ghost cries under the stage. Swear.
Boy, say'st thou so? Art thou there, true Penny? Well, come on. You hear this fellow in the cellarage? Consent to swear.
Oppose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Swear.
To be quiet. Oh, then we'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen. Lay your hand again upon my sword. Swear by my sword, never to speak of this that you have heard.
Swear by his sword.
Well said, old mole. Canst thou work in the earth so fast? Oh, a worthy pioneer. Once more remove, good friends.
Oh, day and night, but this is a wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never, never. So help you mercy, how strange or odd ere I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such time seeing me never shall, with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase, as well we know, or we could and we would, or we list to speak, or there be an and they might, or some ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. This do swear, so grace and mercy at your most need help you.
Swear.
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you. And what so poor a man as Hamlet is, may do it express his love and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together. And still your fingers on your lips. Pray. Time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to make it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
They exit. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Polonius with his man Rinaldo.
Give him this money and these notes, Rinaldo.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvelous wisely, good Rinaldo, before you visit him, to make inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I did intend it.
Very well said, very well said. Look you, sir, inquire me first what danskers are in Paris, and how, and who, what means, and where they keep, what company, at what expense. And finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more nearer than your particular demands will touch it. Take you as 'twere some distant knowledge of him, as thus, I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you mark this, Rinaldo?
Aye, very well, my lord.
And impart him, but you may say, not well, but if it be he, I mean, he's very wild, addicted so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you please, marry none so rank as may dishonor him. Take heed of that. But, sir, such wanton, wild, and usual slips as our companions noted and most known to youth and liberty.
As gaming, my lord?
Aye, your drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing. You may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no, as you may season it in the charge. You must not put another scandal on him that he is open to incontinency. That's not my meaning. But breathe his faults so quaintly that they may seem the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of a fiery mind, a savageness in unreclaimed blood of general assault.
But my good lord.
Wherefore should you do this?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Marry, sir, here's my drift, and I believe it is a fetch of wit. You, laying these slight sullies on my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled in the working, mark you, your party and converse, him you would sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes the youth you breed of guilty. Be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or so, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase or the addition of man and country.
Very good, my lord.
And then, sir, does he this? He does, what was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
At closes in the consequences, at friend or so, and gentleman.
At closes in the consequence, I marry. He closes thus. I know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday, or the other day, or then, or such and such. And as you say, there was he gaming. There overtook in Sir House. There falling out at tennis, or perchance I saw him enter such a house of sale, videlicet a brothel, or so forth. See you now, your bait of falsehood take this carp of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach with windlasses and with essays of bias, by indirections, find directions out. So by my former lecture and advice, shall you, my son? You have me, have you not?
My lord, I have.
God be with you. Fare you well.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself,
I shall, my lord.
and let him ply his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell.
Exit Ronaldo, enter Ophelia.
How now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
Oh, my lord, I have been so affrighted.
With what, in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, unguarded and down jivet to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go. And with his head over his shoulders turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out a door he went without their help, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property fordoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings, as oft as any passions under heaven that does afflict our natures. I am sorry. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not courted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to rack thee, but beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we to the king, this must be known, which being kept close might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come.
They exit. Scene 2, flourish. Enter king and queen, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and attendants.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we much did long to see you, the need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it? Sith nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was what it should be, more than his father's death, that thus hath put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream. I entreat you both that, being of so young days brought up with him, and sith so neighbored to his youth and behavior, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court for some little time, so by your companies to draw him on to pleasures and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that opened lies within our remedy.
Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am, two men there's not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is.
Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
They exit. Enter Polonius.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I assure my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it had used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that do I long to hear.
Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the fruit to that great feast.
Thyself do grace to them and bring them in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our or hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him.
Enter Ambassadors Voltimand and Cornelius with Polonius.
Welcome, my good friends. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polack, but better looked into, he truly found it was against your highness. Whereat grieved that so his sickness, age, and impotence was falsely borne in hand, sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he, in brief, obeys, receives rebuke from Norway, and, in fine, makes vow before his uncle nevermore to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 70,000 crowns in annual fee, and his commission to employ those soldiers so levied as before against the Polack, with an entreaty herein further shown, that it might please you to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise, on such regards of safety and allowance as therein are set down.
It likes us well. And at our more considered time, we'll read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest. At night, we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
Voltman and Cornelius exit.
This business is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it, for to define true madness, what is it but to be nothing else but mad? But let that go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he's mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity 'tis true. A foolish fear, but farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad let us grant him then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say the cause of this defect. For this effect defective comes by cause, that it remains, and the remainder thus perpend. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience mark hath given me this. Now gather and surmise.
He reads.
For the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But you shall hear thus.
He continues reading.
In her excellent white bosom, these, etc.
It came this from Hamlet to her.
Good madam, stay a while. I will be faithful.
He reads.
Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt thy love. O dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best. O most best, believe it. Adieu. Thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. This in obedience has my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As of a man, faithful, honorable.
I would fain prove so. But what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it? I must tell you that before your daughter told me. What might you think, or my dear majesty, your queen here think, if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight? What might you think? No, I went round to work, and my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star this must not be. And then I prescripts gave her, that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. Which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repelled a short tale to me, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, thence into a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
Maybe. Very like.
Hath there been such a time, I would fain know that I have positively said 'tis so when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then, mark the encounter, if he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon. Let me be no assistant for a state, but keep a farm and carters.
We'll try it.
Enter Hamlet, reading in a book.
But look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I do beseech you both, away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave.
King and the Queen exit with attendants.
How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God a mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent, well. You are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir. To be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog being a good kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing. But as your daughter may conceive, friend, look to it.
Aside.
How say you by that, still harping on my daughter? Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone. And truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love, very near this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words, words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Slander, sir. For the satirical rogue, he says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, that their eyes purging thick and amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams, all which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For yourself, sir, shall grow old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go backward.
Aside.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out into the air, my lord?
Into my grave?
Indeed, that's out of the air.
Aside.
How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so preposterously be delivered of. I will leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I will take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
Aside.
Tedious old fools.
Enter Guildenstern and Rosencrantz.
You go to seek the Lord Hamlet, there he is.
God save you, sir.
Polonius exits. My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends. Well, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Ha! Rosencrantz! Oh, good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
Ah, then you live about her waist or in the middle of her favors?
Wait, her privates we.
The secret parts fortune. How must true. She is a strumpet. What news?
My lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then the world is one.
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Aye, then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambition. For the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
A dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow.
Well, then our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and outstretched heroes, the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court? For by my fay, I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for I speak to you like an honest man. I'm most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Beggar than I am even poor in thanks. But I thank you, and sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Anything but to the purpose. You were sent for. And there's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear a better proposer can charge you withal. Be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay, then, I have an eye on you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not. Lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises. And indeed, it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air. Look you, this brave or hanging firmament, this majestical roof, fretted with golden fire. Why, it appeareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god. Beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor women neither. Though by your smiling, you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then, when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We caught them on the way, and hither they are coming to offer you service.
Well, he that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute on me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target. The lover shall not sigh gratis. The humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickle of the seer. And the lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for it. What players are they?
Even those you were wont to take such delight in, the Tragians of the city.
Well, how chances it they travel? Their residence, both in reputation and profit, was better both ways.
I think their inhibition comes by the means of the late innovation.
Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed?
No, indeed, they are not.
How comes it? Do they grow rusty?
Nay, their endeavor keeps in the wonted pace. But there is, sir, an array of children, little Ayas that cry out on the top of question and are most tyrannically clapped for it. These are now the fashion, and so berattle the common stages, so they call them, that many wearing rapiers are afraid of goose quills and dare scarce come hither.
What are they, children? Who maintains them? How are they escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer that they can sing? Will they not say afterwards if they should grow themselves to common players, as it is most like if their means are no better? Their writers do them wrong to make them exclaim against their own succession.
Faith, there has been so much to do on both sides, and the nation holds it in no sin to tar them to controversy. There was for a while no money bid for argument unless the poet and the player went to cuffs in the question.
Is it possible?
Oh, there has been much throwing about of brains.
Do the boys carry it away?
Aye, that they do, my lord. Hercules and his load too.
That's not very strange. For my uncle is king of Denmark, and those that would make mouths at him while my father lived give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for his picture, and little. Sblood, there is something in this more than natural, if philosophy could find it out.
Flourish for the players. There are the players.
Oh, gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest my extent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outwards, should more appear like entertainment than yours. You are welcome, but my uncle father and my aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am mad. North by north, west. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
And Polonius.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Oh, hark you, Guildenstern, you too. At each ear, a hearer. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clouds.
Happily, he is the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child.
I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players' market. Oh, you say right, sir. A Monday morning. What was it then?
My lord, I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you. In Rochus was an actor in Rome.
The actors are come hither, my lord.
Buzz, buzz.
Upon my honor,
Then came each actor on his ass.
the best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, pastoral comical, historical pastoral, tragical historical, tragical comical historical pastoral, scene indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Plautus too light. For the law of writ and the liberty, these are the only men.
Oh, Jephthah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hadst thou.
What a treasure had he, my lord?
One fair daughter, and no more, the which he loved passing well.
Aside.
Still on my daughter?
Am I not in the right, old Jephthah?
If you call me Jephthah, my lord, I have a daughter that I love passing well.
Nay, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
It's as by lot, God what? And then, it came to pass as most like it was. The first row of the pious chanson will show you more, for look where my abridgment comes.
And to the players.
You are welcome, masters. Welcome all. Glad to see thee. Well, welcome, but good friends. My old friend. Oh, why thy face is valiant since I saw thee last. Comest thou to beard me in Denmark? What, my young lady and mistress? By your lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last, by the altitude of a Chopin. Pray God your voice, like a piece of uncurrent gold, be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you are welcome, all welcome. We'll into it like the French falconers. We'll fly at anything we see. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my good lord? End of part 1. Good job, guys. Yay!
Yay.
Oh, join us next week.
When Hamlet will be a man.
For part 2. Temporarily, you will be a man.
Great Joe didn't call.
Yes, Joe.
Oh, he'll be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Alanna. Great job. And to everyone, thank you, guys. We'll see everybody next week. But Alanna, you get some time off. So.
Thank you.
I'm still in Paris. I think Laertes is still in France next week.
Yeah, I think he's still.
Yeah.
Alanna can join you.
Yeah.
Come to France.
We'll have a baguette.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, berets for everybody.
Yes. Berets for berets.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you to our audience for joining us tonight. Part 1, and next week, as we said, we continue with part 2, and then the following week we end it with part 3. So it's been great, and great work to you guys, and thank you so much. And we'll see you all next week.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Good night.
Good job, everybody. Great.
Yeah, great job, everyone. Bye.
Bye.